In Romans 15, verse 30, Paul says to the church in Rome, I appeal to you by the Lord Jesus Christ and by the love of the Spirit that you would strive together with me in your prayers on my behalf. And then he gives them two things that he wants them to pray for. Number one, that I would be protected from the unbelievers in Judea. And number two, that the believers would find my ministry to Jerusalem acceptable. In other words, there's defense and there's offense in the kind of prayers he's asking for. Defend me from unbelievers and open the hearts of everybody that I speak to. And so I'm going to be so bold as to do what I've done so many times and say, would you pray for me and for Desiring God this summer the way they prayed for the Apostle Paul in Rome? And when I think of praying defensively for me and for the ministry at Desiring God, I think pray against sin, Satan, sickness, sabotage. Those are the four S's I pray for myself and my family over and over again, from the most dangerous to the least dangerous as I judge things. Pray against sin, Satan, sickness, sabotage in our lives, and positively pray that everything we write, every time I open my mouth, every time the team writes an article or a book or preaches, does look at the book or ask Pastor John, pray that the hearers, the believers, but also the unbelievers who might become believers, pray that they would listen in such a way as to truly understand and not distort or minimize or reject or marginalize, but would welcome everything true that we happen to say. So those two kinds of prayers, the defensive kind, the offensive kind. And I'll give you three focuses if God brings us to mind this summer in your prayers. Number one, I'm traveling with some of the Desiring God team to Amsterdam to meet with our global partners from across the nations. These are folks who have their own ministries, publishing houses, web ministries, who love the same truth we love and want to spread a passion for the supremacy of God in all things, for the joy of all peoples through Jesus Christ by writing and speaking God-centered, Christ-exalting, Bible-saturated truth. And we meet with them every now and then just to encourage and strengthen and counsel. And my job is to be as encouraging as I can be, which I'm really happy to do. That will be connected with a little vacation that Noel and I will take, piggybacking on that trip to Amsterdam. And the prayer there, in addition to what I said about offense and defense, is that we would come away from those days of vacation spiritually and physically refreshed, so that number three, when we come back, we can dive directly into 8 weeks of focused look at the book blitz. Now, if God is as merciful to me this summer as he was last summer, I hope to bring away from those 8 weeks 200 new episodes of Look at the Book, finishing 1 Corinthians, getting into 2 Corinthians. You know, perhaps, and if you don't, I'll tell you, my life goal with regard to Look at the Book is to do episodes on all of Paul's letters. And all I have left to do is 1 Corinthians, and I'm 100 episodes into it, and 2 Corinthians, and then, God willing, the great Romans. So that's the plan for the summer. Amsterdam, encourage the global partners, vacation with Noel, 8 weeks of Look at the Book, and then diving into my preaching class that I teach at Bethlehem College and Seminary. And my bold request is that, as you have done for so often, some of you for years and years, that as God brings us to mind, you would pray those defensive prayers of protection over the ministry and those offensive prayers of, oh God, open the hearts of millions of people around the world to the God-centered, Christ-exalting, Bible-saturated, Christian hedonist truth that we love so much. So thank you for all those thousands of prayers that have ascended to the Lord over the past years, and for what you're going to give us by way of support and prayer this summer.